Well, good afternoon, Jason. First of all, I just want to thank you for joining me to have this quick chat. Uh, just want to ask how are you and the family holding up during these unprecedented times?
Yeah, first of all, thanks for having me. Nice to be here. Yeah, it's been a challenging stint, to be honest. I've not been indoors or at home for this length of time in a minute. So, it's something I had to get accustomed to or make a significant adjustment to deal with. So, I think initially it was very, very difficult, but I pretty much found a routine and was able to get by and, keep myself sane and active at the same time.
Okay, good to hear. I saw you did some cooking with your good friend Carlos Buffett a couple of weeks ago. Is that something that you usually do when you're at downtime, or are you someone that frequents the kitchen often?
To be honest, faced with this situation that you pretty much had to cook, living alone. Well, I have a girlfriend here now, but living practically alone and obviously nowhere else to go to get food. You had no choice but to cook. So, yeah, it was, I guess, my duty and my calling at that time to learn to cook. And, I thoroughly enjoyed it, man. And I felt comfortable enough to go on Instagram Live with Carlos to cook a dish. So, well, cook pancakes, but albeit from scratch. But apart from that, I still experimented quite a bit in the kitchen, and I've thoroughly enjoyed it, man. I've honestly always enjoyed cooking, but never really had the time to cook. But I guess we had more time on our hands than we all predicted, so no better time than now to put it to work.
Prior to the cooking with Carlos, I saw you. I saw you attempted some soup as well. How did that go?
No, the soup was a hit, to be honest. Now I'm not blowing my own flute by no means, but I wouldn't lie to it. It felt like something you would go in a restaurant and have, to be honest. So I felt like I accomplished something really nice there. And first time, I feel as though it was a really good effort for the first time, but my girlfriend could attest to that as well too. She really enjoyed it. It was a proper soup too. It wasn't one of those soups that, lack this or lack that. I think it had a bit of everything. It had enough vegetables, it had color, it had peas, it had dumplings.
Okay, I'm just gonna ask what dumplings because the soup is not.
I had the full works, man. So I think it was a proper fish broth.
Pretty good. Glad to hear that. Before we get into the cricket side of things, I just want to ask, what is a normal day or like for Jason when you're not playing cricket?
Well, yeah. Normally when I'm at home, a normal day would be waking up early. I like to get my training done early. Okay. So I normally wake up relatively early every day. And when I say early, I told somebody I wake up at 5:30 and they're saying, well, that's late. But I wake up pretty much around 5:30 every day. I try to be out the house maybe between 6:30, 7 latest. I get, if I do a gym session in the morning, I get that in early. But by midday, I like to be done. And I like my day to be pretty much freed up from the midday so I could go and play golf. I enjoy golf. So most days, not every day, but most days is training, then hit cricket balls probably, and then probably head on the golf course. The days that I do not play golf would really just chill out, kick back. But I always have something to do, man. I always have somewhere to be, to be honest. It's pretty busy, so something always pops up.
Okay. Couple of years ago, I'm not sure if you remember, a couple of years ago, we had a conversation about your watch collection. Pretty sure at that time you told me you had around 14 watches. Can you tell us a bit about what that collection looks like now and where your obsession for watches came
from? I don't know where the obsession for watches came from. I always honestly love watches. I like a good timepiece. And I guess at that stage where we would have had the conversation around watches, I maybe wasn't to the point I'm now in terms of having quality watches. So I had a lot back then, but a lot of what you call some of the lesser brands. Okay. But now I've gone up a notch in terms of the watch collection. So I don't have 14, but I have at least 3 really good pieces, and then I got couple everyday pieces in there. To name a few, we've got a Hublot, Panerai, got a Breitling, Tig, and then I just got a few everyday watches, some like Gucci's and these kind of things. So Yeah, I mean, I thoroughly enjoy watching it. For me, a watch is an investment. You know, you get a nice timepiece, you could appreciate. You can hold on to it for a couple of years, and you know you can always sell it back or make money. There's a big market for used watches and refurbished watches as well too. So you know, for me, I see it as more of an investment, but it's a passion. It's something I've always loved.
Okay. You say you started playing cricket at the age of 8 when you were enrolled in the Empire Sports Camp. Can you remember at that stage what was your favorite aspect of the game?
I honestly can't remember what was my favorite aspect. I just remember loving the game. You know, you get an opportunity to go outside, run around friends, and play. I don't think I was deeply into cricket as much as I am now back then, obviously, but you know, you grow to understand the game. And I think over the years of understand the game, understand a bit of the history, and you know, you just basically grow your love for the game by just watching it, seeing people succeed, and then you're just telling yourself, well, look, I want to be in that position. You know, I want an opportunity to do it big on the big stage. So I mean, yeah, I started at 8. Was always an all-rounder. As long as I was playing cricket, I was always an all-rounder. So I never really pigeonhole myself to be like a one-dimensional cricketer or even, yeah, just a one-dimensional cricketer. But I always try to be involved in the game in some form or some fashion, you know, whether it be ball in hand, bat in hand, or even in field trying to take a good catch or effect a good run.
Okay. Shortly after that, you were enrolled in the Wanderers Sports Club, and that is where you had your first tour to England. Mm-hmm. Can you tell us a bit about that tour, your first tour to England?
First of all, I could tell you my first day at Wanderers. As I said, it was at the Empire Sports Program. Well, it's the summer camp run by Julian Grant. Never forget it. And, you know, after the summer camp, they tried to start up a Saturday morning junior program. But, you know, the numbers just weren't there. So a lot of mornings I would go down there and a handful of people. Sometimes you get 5, sometimes you get 2. It just didn't materialize the way everybody would have hoped it had. So then my mom got me, well, she knew a few people affiliated with Wanderers. I remember Edward Inks. I think she was working with Edward Inks, who's a long-standing member at the Wanderers Cricket Club. Ed told my mom to bring me up to Wanderers. And I remember my first day going to Wanderers. You know, you've never been in that environment where you're practicing. I didn't even know what to wear. So I think I remember wearing something like a semi-casual short pants. And, you know, you're just trying to fit in. But you know, the beauty about going to Wanderers is that I felt a part of the family from day one, man. Everybody embraced me. It wasn't a situation where people were hard on me or nasty towards me. Everybody welcomed me with open arms, man. I obviously knew 1 or 2 people from school there, and then you build relationships with people over the years. And luckily for me, I got the opportunity to tour England not once but 3 times with the Wanderers Cricket Club. Started in 2002, we then went in 2004, then 2006. And I always would attribute a lot of my success to the personnel at Wanderers Cricket Club. You know, Kevin Watson, who started up the Wanderers Junior program, was a big advocate of that. Sean Marquez was a surgeon. Mike Evans, a massive thank you to Mike as well, because Mike not only helped me out within the constraints of the club, but personally, you know, he gave me access to, he then had a bowling machine at that stage too. So I got one-on-one sessions with Dexter Toppin through Mike Evans. So look, I have a lot to be thankful for the people at Wanderers, man. People at Wanderers really look after me and continue to look after me in every possible way. And that's where my heart lies. To me, that's the home, you know. So I would always remember them for their contribution to my success.
Okay. Well, yes, we played some cricket together a couple of years ago, and I always remember your dad. You know, he would be at majority of our games, and like you just said, your mom was the one that enrolled you in the Wanderers Sports Club. So your parents were always close by when it comes to the cricket aspect. What would you say? How would you describe your parents' contribution to your cricketing career, and by extension, you as an individual?
Look, I've got them to thank for everything, man. My mom obviously had her contacts at Wanderers, but my father basically initiated me into or enrolling me into the summer camp at Empire. And had not been for that, I probably wouldn't have the interest that I grew. And they saw that I had an interest in it. So look, I must always thank my father. My father is the man. I always call him the man. He was there through thick and thin. He bought me every piece of equipment I needed. You know, he supported me from day one straight through. I mean, it's not a case where if I wanted it, he didn't get it. You know, anything I needed, he got. You know, and to me, he instilled values as well too. Because if it was a necessity, he provided it. But if he didn't feel as though it was necessary, well, then I had to work hard to get it. And again, he supported me in every single facet of playing cricket. From day one, he would watch every single cricket game. My mom didn't have the luxury of watching a lot of my games when I was younger, but now that I'm on the international stage and playing a lot more internationally, she's been there. But my dad has been the guy straight through, to be honest, and I attribute a lot of my success to him and just having that moral support from someone you cherish. And with him and my grandfather who's passed, they would support me a lot by coming to my games and running around behind me. So, like, I would always remember them and always thank them for the position I'm in now.
Okay. You made your international debut in 2013, which I'm pretty sure was a childhood dream of yours. Can you take me through the feeling of having that cap presented to you?
I remember the day like it's yesterday, to be honest. Perth, the Waka Stadium, historic venue. I toured Bangladesh prior to that. That was at I think November, December 2012. I didn't play a game. I went up to replace Tino Bessini on this season. That was my first call up. So I was eager to play there, but I didn't get the opportunity. So our next tour was Australia. I didn't think I was going to start, let alone play. And there was in the first game playing. And it was a rough first game. We got bowled for 17 Mitchell start, demolished both the top and lower. I think he got 7 wickets that day. But to be presenting my cap on that historic event, I think I had a pretty decent year. And I didn't bat badly and I bowled well as well. But I remember Richie Richardson presented me my one-day cap. And the smile on my face, I still have the photo in my phone and printed as well too. And the smile on my face just said how proud I was. Again, it was a childhood dream after coming through all the age group levels, playing for Barbados, and then pushing to play for West Indies A, and yeah, to finally get to the top, just made all the hard yards worthwhile. And again, it was really, really proud.
Okay. Shortly after that, you were selected to play in the IPL for the Chennai Super Kings. Tell us about that, playing on such a huge arena at such an early stage of your career.
Yeah, it was funny, man. Things happened so quickly for me back then. Starting in Perth, the IPL auction was the day of the second one day, sorry.
Okay.
And again, I didn't have a bad game. And Dwayne Bravo, I felt always had a liking for me. I guess he saw some talent, saw something like, and he really liked me. And I guess he was one of the people behind me actually going to Chennai. He probably put in a word and saying, well, look, it's probably a good guy to have, a youngster coming up and a cheap buy and just someone eager to get an opportunity. And I went to Chennai at 21 years old. I remember playing like 9 games. The most I've ever played in IPL at 21. And afterwards, I went on to Sunrisers where I only played 1 game, and maybe at KKR I played 4 or 5 games. So, look, I enjoyed my time at Chennai, and that opportunity was massive. I'd never played in front of so many people, never been to India. And being to India, playing in a tournament without such magnitude was massive. And for me, that really gave me the energy, the confidence, the passion and drive to go further, to push the limits in order to get better and make sure that I could always have an option, to play domestic cricket around the world. So yeah, I relish the opportunity and thankful for it as well.
Okay. During that season, you would have shared the dressing room with some cricketing greats, MS Dhoni, Mike Hussey, to name a few. Tell us what it was like sharing a dressing room with those guys.
Bit intimidating at times, man, but honestly, I that's my best franchise, hands down. Chennai Super Kings was the best time I've had in IPL. Um, my time on Mike Hussey was phenomenal, man. I even message him up to this day trying to get him to the West Indies to probably do a bit of coaching, do a bit of consultancy work. But he's just a big family man. He doesn't have the time right now, but he's just, I mean, they don't call him Mr. Cricket for joke, you know. I mean, he's one of those guys, he's just a complete professional. One of those guys who practiced hard, prepared really well, you know, and just gave himself the best opportunity to perform on the big stage. And no, it's no surprise the success he had at a late stage in his career. You know, he came into Test cricket at 30, 31 years old and never looked back. And it's just due to the fact that he was a hard worker. I mean, maybe not the most talented person, but, you know, through hard work, he's one of those prime examples of a person who wants to put in that time and effort. You know, you reap the rewards at some point down the line. And I have massive respect for him. You know, he's one of those guys, he would go into my favorite cricketer category, to be honest. Just the way he gone about it. I remember him running a fielding session at Chennai, and it's basically, at that stage, he was basically winding down. He was 35, 36, maybe 37. And he wasn't as quick as he used to be, but in terms of fielder, he was always an outstanding fielder. So he was just basically, I remember they did a breakdown of him in the field. He was feeling square the wicket, but deep in it, square and deep. And they just showed a clip with the batsman and where he's about to make contact with the ball. Yeah. And the split was Hussey on the next split, anticipating and going towards where he felt the ball was going to be. And it was amazing. So he made up for slow legs by anticipating well. And just little things he brought to our attention in our fielding session. Basically how a batsman would pick up a bat, how a batsman's feet were shaped to play, and then you could almost judge and anticipate where the ball is going. It was phenomenal. I've never really broken it down like that. So that opened up my eyes significantly, man. So I attribute so many things that I've picked up in the game from the great players. You know, Hussey being one of them, and sharing dressing room with MS Dhoni, who's arguably one of the best leaders who've ever led in cricket. You know, was phenomenal, man. And for me, it's made me into the person, not only the cricketer, the person I am today.
Okay. Well, like as you said, every year in the IPL, we see the Chennai Super Kings playing good, consistent cricket. What can you say is the major reason for that?
I think they've just got a strong core group of cricketers who they've not really, they've stayed faithful and loyal to. When you look at the nucleus of that Chennai team, Suresh Raina has done a hell of a lot for them. MS Dhoni, Dwayne Bravo. Then you got Jadeja, who's been there for a while. When Ashwin was there, Ashwin was phenomenal as well. Murali Vijay, Subramaniam Badrinath. These are guys that really carried Chennai Super Kings and made them into the franchise that they are. And then you mix that in with the young talent, you know, and it's just great to see, man. When I started at Chennai, Mohit Sharma was there. Mohit Sharma was nobody. And after that IPL stint, he propelled himself into the Indian team, had a good few games, you know, got a big contract in IPL afterwards. And every year you can see youngsters coming through the Chennai system and progressing. But it's due to the fact that they've got a strong core group, well coached, well managed. And, you know, they've basically built a family. I believe in family. I think once you have that family environment, then, you know, playing, you could play a little bit more relaxed, you know, with that sense of security, you know, that people off the field support you just as much as the people on the field. So, yeah, I think they've got the right setup in terms of managerial stuff and playing allotment as well.
Okay. In 2015, you were appointed the captain of the ODI team. Tell us a bit about when you first got that call, up until when you finally made your decision to captain the West Indies team.
Honestly, it was November 2014, actually, or December 2014, because we were in South Africa. It was a funny time, man, because prior to that, we had the tour to India, where we had a walkout. There was a lot of speculation. There was a lot of talk over that. I was a part of that tour as well, too. And then, obviously, Dwayne Bravo was the captain at that stage, and it stripped him of the captaincy after that. And it was a really funny time for me, Clive Lloyd came to me and asked me what I would think about captain. And I said to him, well, look, I would have to sit back and give it some massive thought. But yeah, we had a good dialogue, and then I went to Dwayne. I remember calling Dwayne and talking to Dwayne about it. And, I'm not sure deep down he would have he would have been happy that I would have been accepting it, but it didn't deter me from taking it. I respect him up to this day for that. And it was a funny time in West Indies cricket. A very, very funny time.
Yes.
But knowing the politics and everything else off the field involved in West Indies cricket, now maybe at that point I wouldn't have taken it.
Okay. What impact did the captaincy have on your game?
I felt it had a positive impact. My first tour in South Africa, I held my own with bat and ball. After that, we flew from South Africa straight to the World Cup in 2015, which is in Australia and New Zealand. And I had a really good World Cup there as well, too, with both bat and ball. So I felt at that stage it had done something for my cricket. Obviously there's added responsibility, and you've got to really hold your own as a player first to be able to command our respect of your team. And I was by no means a solid figure, I guess, in the team at that stage. And I really had to put the performances in to justify me being captain. And then it got to a point where I started taking on so many stuff off the field in terms of battling with so many things off the field. I got a little bit distracted from playing cricket. And I just one day woke up and I said, well, look, man, at the end of the day, the system is the way it is. And no one person can change the system. It's a waste of time me consuming all my energy and efforts into that and forgetting my main purpose, which is to play cricket. And I think from the time I made up my mind to do that, that's when my cricket really picked back up. And, I never really looked back from there.
Okay. Yeah. As captain, in the early stages, what did you do to improve the camaraderie among the guys?
It's a hard task, man. The first thing you got to do is understand the dynamics of the dressing room. People often think it's an easy task with West Indian people being with West Indian people, but people don't understand that West Indian people means a combination of islands, And Guyanese would always be comfortable around Guyanese. Bajans likewise are comfortable around Barbadians. And now Trinity's the same way. So it's hard to break away from that. I think the main thing is having everybody pushing towards one common goal. And, because of the mistrust between the board and players, it's been hard to get players to really open up and be themselves. I feel as though so many West Indian cricketers have done it for themselves first, rather than the region, and just keeping their neck above water, for lack of a better phrase. And it's sad, because the system itself has put players into that mindset. Has not allowed players to really blossom as a collective rather than individuals. So I could have sympathized with them at that stage, but things that I had to do in the dressing was just bring transparency. You had to have transparency in anything you're doing, especially when you know that decisions that could be made would make or break certain people. And I believe once you have transparency, then people could see the true you. And for me, it was my task to get people to trust, and then understand where it was looking to take the team.
Okay. All right. Now, Jason, I want to fast forward to 2019, which was a pretty good year for you, cricketing-wise. We had the home series against England, and going into that series, the West Indies were ranked number 8 in the ICC rankings, and England was ranked number 2. Yet, it was noted that you were very confident going into this series. tell us about what fueled that confidence.
Look, I see England right now in a very funny position. You know, they've lost a star of the game in Alistair Cook, a dominant force in Kevin Peterson, a guy who's been solidly in the England side for a number of years, in Ian Bell. And these are guys that really carried England batting lineup per se for the last however long their careers have lasted. Losing Cookie was a big loss, and I felt as though their batters are now just trying to get into Test cricket. They've got a pretty young and unsettled batting top order, that is. You know, when you take Stokes out, you take Root out, then Bairstow to a lesser extent, everybody else is relatively inexperienced. So I knew their batting lineup could be troubled. You know, they had toured Sri Lanka prior to that, but they had a couple months off before coming to the West Indies. And they beat Sri Lanka, which was a tough task anyways. But I felt as though our bowling attack is one of the best bowling. I feel as though one of our bowling attacks is one of the best bowling attacks in the world. And us playing at home against an unsettled top order from England, I think is a level playing field. So I knew once we get early wickets and we put pressure on Root and Stokes, you know, we're always in with a show, you know. And for us, it's just to get some runs on the board. And I always back myself when they're coming down in the bottom there. But it's more or less trying to get a good start, getting a little bit of nerves out, going from there. And I felt what set the tone for that series, that opening partnership on our first day with John Campbell and Craig Brathwaite. To me, that really set the tone. They put on a really good stand. It wasn't a stand where they scored heavily, but the time they took out of the game, the way they left the ball, the way they put pressure on the England bowlers when they had, and they both got starts. They didn't carry on to make massive totals, but to me, that was really the fuel to the fire, to be honest. And I think after seeing that, I gave the whole dressing room a sense of, well, look, this bowling attack isn't, you know, anything world beating. You know, they have some world class bowlers, no doubt, but at the end of the day, they're playable. So I think that really gave the dressing room the impetus it needed, and we were able to post a reasonable first innings total. But then we came back and we just justified, you know, how good of a bowling attack we have with Kemar getting 5 wickets, and I got a couple as well. Shannon got a couple. You know, we bowled them up pretty cheaply.
Yes. Also, in the first game of that series, you scored a double 100 in front of your home crowd. Talk us through the emotions that you felt during that moment.
Oh man, it's a dream come true.
Yeah.
And I mean, during this lockdown, I've had a few interviews, and a lot of them have asked me around about the double 100. And it's funny enough, I don't even regard it as my best Test innings. I think my best Test innings is my first Test 100 against England, but the double 100 was special. And to me, the specialness of the innings was just the couple months before I was doing rehab in England on my shoulder after having a tear and having to sit up the Bangladesh series. And I remember doing rehab, I had to go to Harley Street in London, never forget, every single day, every morning, had 2 sessions a day. And I used to have to run on the treadmill to warm up. You go and you put on your heart rate monitor and you start running. And you run for roughly between 10 to 15 minutes. And I remember he set the time and I was just running. And I got into the zone of visualization, just feeling and living in the moment. And it just felt so real. And I always wanted to score Test 100 in front of my home crowd. And I distinctly remember running on that treadmill and just remembering the same feelings, just the emotion, you know, just vigilant. And before I knew it, I was running at least 5 to 6 minutes after the time I was supposed to run. And I had to really snap out of it. And then to come there then and do it, man, I knew it was always around the corner where we scored Test 100. I had 3 or 4 half centuries up to then, in Test cricket at Kensington, but I knew the 100 was around the corner. And when I got to the 100, I was like, whoa, yeah, I finally got it.
Yeah.
But then there was another goal. You know, Shane was only on 50 odd, and we had put on a really good partnership. So my job was now to get him to 100. So I ended up staying out there, and we had a healthy lead at our stage anyways, but I ended up staying out there just to make sure he got his 100. And when he got his 100, it was 160 odd. And I remember coming in dressed from my tea and saying, well, look, guys, we can look to declare probably about another 10, 15 minutes and then declare. And the guys were like, well, I don't feel we should declare. So I was saying to myself, well, the guy said we still got a lot of time in the day. Why not battle a little bit more, keep them at bay, tire them out, and then have a run at them in the evening. So, I mean, it was just a general consensus for the team. So I couldn't go against them. So I went back on the back and just pushed the score, I mean, at that stage, if I got it double 100, yes. If I didn't get it, well, fair enough. And I felt very, very happy with the 100 anyways. But then I just went out and played and just freed up and pushed the score. And then before I know, it was, 202 not out.
Shortly after that series, you jumped to number 1 in the ICC test rankings for all-rounders. The first West Indian to do it since the Garfield Summers. Tell us about how that made you feel.
Back then, I felt extremely proud, man, because it was, I guess, it was a long time goal of mine. But now, if you ask me how I feel about it, I would say it means nothing. It means nothing because, I mean, for example, you've seen so many people commenting on the best teams in the world, like the best cricketers in the world are ours, and they don't mention my name. I am, according to ICC rankings, I'm the number 1 ranked all-rounder, number 3 ranked bowler, and I think it probably sit in the top 30 probably in batting. But whenever there's a team, 11 pick in terms of all-round, best teams right now, my name is never there. And yeah, I guess Stokes is a household name at this present time, and he's well liked, and he's a very good cricketer, no doubt. Yeah. So for me, I've now just shut that out. I just think is a load of BS now, if you ask me. And for me, I just put that in the back of my mind and just push on what I need to do. And for me, my focus and my drive is always to win series. I think once you win cricket games, win series, then you got something to look back on. Yeah, you can look back on individual accolades, but realistically speaking, it's like you compare it to the NBA. There were a number of great players who'd never won a championship. And for me, I just want to win trophies, win championships, win games. So I guess that's my motivation.
Yeah. All right, I want to move on to the CPL season last year. Yeah, at the beginning of this season, the Tridents, we were a bit inconsistent, but as the tournament progressed, they showed more consistency. What can you say was the major reason for the turnaround?
I think I spoke to it before. I think the defining thing with this team is how we stuck together through tough times. Okay. At no stage we dispersed in small groups. No stage we had arguments or turmoil within the dressing room. Everybody was still very, very optimistic and very, very positive that we could, get into the playoffs. I think the playoffs is always the first priority. In our game against St. Lucia at Kensington, which was basically a do or die. We win the game, we go in the playoffs. We lose the game, we stay at home. For me, winning that game, for me, was just all the confidence we needed to win the tournament. Okay. After winning the game, coming from behind, basically, because we only made 140 odd, and they were cruising at one stage, and they just crumbled. We ended up winning that game. I knew when we won that game, we were in for something very, very special. And that's when planning really beefed up. We really sat down and really put our heads together and formulated some solid plans. And then not only formulated them, we executed them. And it was really good to see how we rebounded from that. And for me, that was up there with one of the best tournaments I've played in, man. And to captain a team and win a major championship such as the CPL, for me, is a significant achievement, man. I guess I always look back on the photo when we lifted the trophy, and it's almost goosebumps that come up on this game, man. Just seeing all the emotion, all the hard work, all the sweat, blood, and tears in one photo. And, it always raises here on your hands, per se. So, yeah, I enjoyed the CPL, and hopefully we could win a few more championships there.
Yeah. Sticking on the CPL, one of my most memorable moments of the CPL, Jason, was the game in Barbados when the Tridents played Trinidad. Throughout the whole game, both you and Pollard, had some back and forth going on. And then when Trinidad was batting and you took the catch to dismiss Pollard, you were feeling, remember like yesterday, you were feeling in front of the Hewitt and Ennis stand. Yeah. And when you took the catch, you ran to the opposite side of the field and you stood right in front of the players' pavilion, and you basically gave Pollard a send-off, for lack of a better term, at the moment. And even at that point, there was still a lot of back and forth going on between you two. Can you share some light on that situation?
Yeah, man. Paulie's is a massive competitor. I must always respect Paulie for that, man. But I think it stemmed from the year before. When Paulie played for St. Lucia, we played in Barbados, and I got Paulie out. And I was very, very animated because he scored 100 against us in St. Lucia, and I didn't like it. I didn't like the fact that anybody. I don't like when people score hundreds off of me. And he was all pumped up. And obviously he wanted to prove a point against Barbados as well, being his former team. So, that didn't really sit well with me. And I got him out in Barbados in that game, 1-ball. And I was emotional. I probably was a little out of character, but I maybe given a little send off. I think that's what really fueled it for him. So he didn't ever forget it, and he got me out in the same game. While he was bowling, he was late. I came into bat in the last over, just basically had a swing, just to help the team, and I held out a deep square. So he gave me a send off, and he reminded me of it.
Yes.
That really, really, really pissed me off, and it got me going. But I'm not obviously not one to become controversial and confrontational. So, I held my tongue and I just walk off. Still too annoying a lot. The previous year I had a little bit of emotion when I got him out. So I held my tongue and went in. But he came up to bat, game well poised, and he was obviously the man to take TNT over the line. And he held up to me at long off. And all I could think about is when I take this guy, when the ball hit in the air, I wanted to bowl when he came up to bat, but the situation didn't dictate I should come on to bowl. Okay. So I didn't bowl. So, I was just hoping that at some point or some way I could be a part of his dismissal. It just so happened that I was that long off and hit the ball straight down to me. And I said, well, this is my opportunity now. And I didn't even know what to do. So I just started to run, and I told myself, well, I can run in his direction, but I obviously can't get too close to him because of the whole not anti-corruption, but the spirit of the game, laws of the game and stuff like that. So I kept my distance, and I think it was brilliantly done. When you really look back on it, it was just brilliantly done. I didn't say a word. And he was real mad. He cursed and that kind of thing. It was great, man. But it was good for the game. It's exactly what the fun game to see. And there's no bad blood between me and Paulie, and we get on really well, actually. And I think people respect you a lot more when you do things like that, and basically stand up to people. Yeah. I think it's a moment where he would always respect me for. And even up to the other day, I think Wendy's Cricket were doing like a little recap, and they showed it, and he sent it to me on WhatsApp. So we had a good laugh over it as well too.
That's good to hear. As we stated earlier, the team became more consistent as the tournament matured, and eventually made it to the finals. You went up against Guyana in the finals, a team that was on an 11-game win streak. Yeah. So what was the mindset going into that final game, going up against a team such as strong as Guyana?
Honestly, I knew we were going to beat them. I knew we were going to beat them from the time they beat us in the playoffs in Ghana. I knew we were going to beat Trinidad, and I knew that we were going to face Ghana in the finals. Okay. And I wanted to face Ghana. Ghana had beaten us twice in the competition prior to that. And there was all this talk of Ghana's unbeaten, and they're unbeatable and all these things. And people get complacent. Yeah. And I knew we were going to beat them. I knew how to beat them. It's just about us executing the plan. And we obviously were off to a shaky start as well too. But the way John McCarter played, Ashley Nash played, Rivalry played, those guys deserve a whole set of credit for that team success there.
That's correct.
And to get us to 170, I knew Ghana were dead. There's no chance Ghana would get him 170. And if Ghana got 170 there in our game against our ball attack, they deserve to win the championship. They're obviously the better team. But I knew 170 was a mountain, and my plan, I remember saying it from the bowling meeting. I said to the guys, their batting revolves around short mallet. We take away the head, it's more than likely that the rest of the team will crumble. They've got some talented youngsters, but talented youngsters under the guidance of of a pro, you know, is deadly. But if you leave them to think and get through these tight, tense situations together, is a whole different ball game. So I knew once he got showable early, it was all trouble. And I really wanted to get back Brandon King as well too. And you know, he got a little bit of runs up front, but we got him. And then obviously the next guy was Puran, and Puran didn't know how to play with wickets falling around him. So I mean, we were able to eventually get him, and we pushed on.
Okay. The Tridents have chosen to retain 9 of the players from the team last year. Right. I just want to ask Hayden Walsh and Raymond Rifa, among some of those players who, you know, had pretty good seasons. Well, if there is a CPL this year, what do you expect from the guys, and how confident are you that the guys can complete the double and lift the trophy in the CPL again this year?
Look, I think it's all down to how much the guys believe. For me, the first priority is to ensure that guys still not living in the past and dwelling on last year's success. To me, that's the first objective. And I think the quicker we understand that last year's history, the better off we will be. So I'm not one to keep highlighting and bringing up, well, what we've done in the past. To me, the past is gone. I need guys to understand the context of what we're dealing with at present and finding ways and means to win, you know. I guess, obviously, you probably won't get back the same exact squad, but everybody's got their part to play. Everybody knows their role. So just about guys understanding the role, understanding that last year's history, and it's important that we come this year in this competition with a clean slate, for lack of a better phrase, and just go to play solid cricket and win game by game. Yeah, and just win it by game again.
Okay. Just 2 quick more questions, Jason. What is your top 5 batsmen of all time?
Top 5 batters of all time. This is a tough question, man. I feel like I'm getting in trouble after it because I'm leaving. Brian Lara always in there for me. I don't want to get too deep into players who I haven't seen.
Okay.
So I would deal with more the modern day era. In the modern day era, who I've seen, Brian Lara for sure. Sachin Tendulkar. Kumar Sangakkara. Trying to think in the wide scheme of things. Man, I like. Well, you gotta call Ricky Ponting in there. I can't live with Ricky Ponting.
Hey.
Ricky Ponting, and I can call AB de Villiers. I would call AB de Villiers NBA. Those are my 5.
I recall you telling me a couple years back that he was the most challenging batsman that you ever bowled to.
Yeah, 100%. I just think he's one of the most well-rounded players. You know, he's got shots all around the ground. He's just got a really good hand-eye coordination. And a lot of balls where you midfield you could outfox other batsmen with. He's just got an answer for it. So I just think he's a solid player all around and very, very versatile.
Yeah. Final question, Jason. How do you envision life after cricket for Jason Hodewell?
Oh, my life after cricket is on a golf course with my family, traveling the world, and just enjoying it, to be honest. Raising my kids, and just living under my own means, not being reliant on anybody or anything. You know, just being self-sufficient and just being a family man that I probably wouldn't have had the opportunity to be because of my career. So, I mean, at some stage, yes, I would like to get back to cricket, and in some form or fashion I will, but I don't want my life to be basically heavily involved in cricket after I retire. I think when I hang up the boots, I walking away from cricket in general. Yes, I'll give back, but I don't want to be heavily involved in the cricket either. And I think I got a few other passions, man. I think into thinking of a few business ventures. I'm particularly keen in real estate, property. Well, who knows? Maybe I become a property developer, maybe even a contractor.
Yeah.
Who knows? Just a matter of realizing whatever dream I have after that.
Okay. Well, Jason, I want to thank you for joining me this afternoon, and I wish you nothing but the best going forward in your career.
Thanks a lot, man. Thanks for having me, and I wish you all the best going forward in your
Thank you very much.
interviews and things. Appreciate it, man.
Thank you.